without further ado, I would like to introduce our first panelist, Charlie Taylor, who is a student of mine, and so this is just my personal brag and expression of pride. And then after Charlie, we'll just move into our next two panelists. And then, okay, so this is a conversation, right? They're setting the groundwork. They're setting us up to be in dialogue. And so as you're listening, we're actively listening. You're invited to jot down whatever notes or thoughts or observations that might come to you in the moment, and then we'll share out as a large group. That everybody on the, yeah? You can know what I'm putting down?
You say yes.
All right. All right, so let's go for it, Charlie.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Okay, cool. Thank you for that, I appreciate it. I want to start off by saying that I'm extremely grateful to be here, and special thank you to my professor, Hassan, for believing in me as I come up to speak at my first symposium. So I'm very excited and grateful to be amongst such amazing people. To introduce myself, my name is Charlie Taylor. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I'm currently a junior at Rice University studying business management and entrepreneurship. My journey has always been driven by a curiosity for how things work, whether it's in the world of business or public policy. This upcoming summer, I'll actually be working at the Bank of New York, where I'm eager to dive into the world of finance. I've been involved in a variety of experiences that have helped shape my interests and goals. From consulting for nonprofits with 180 Degrees Consulting, to conducting in-depth policy research on Capitol Hill. These experiences have given me the opportunity to refine my analytical and strategic thinking skills. They have strengthened my ability to connect with people, solve problems, and think critically under pressure. Outside of those, I enjoy spending time with friends and family and traveling whenever I can. For 2 years, I was also a member of the Rice Owls football team, or some might even say I was the star player, but not many, but some might say that. I just like to say that part myself. And today I'll be presenting a piece called When the Buzzer Sounds, Choosing Selfhood Outside of the Black Sports Pipeline. Action shot of me in game there, girl. I'll be drawing from my own experiences as well as past conversations with old teammates. When I sat down with this topic, I was met with feelings I didn't expect to have. Gratitude mixed with discomfort. I grew up in Washington, D.C. playing sports my entire life. It started with basketball, being coached by my dad, then soccer, football, and even lacrosse for a time. Sports were never just something I did after school. They were how I learned discipline, how I learned to work with others, and how I learned where I fit. When I started football in 7th grade, it quickly became a priority in my life. This looked like early mornings, long practices, weekends built around games, and a growing sense that this was something I could really be good at if I committed fully. I loved the physicality, the movement, and especially the camaraderie, and being part of something much bigger than myself. By high school, that commitment developed into a clear goal. I wanted to play Division I football. Not just anywhere, but somewhere that would challenge me both athletically and academically. I trained year-round, went to camps, built relationships with coaches, and structured much of my daily life around that pursuit. That goal mattered to me, and achieving it was deeply validating. It was proof that the work meant something, and that I had earned my place. During my first year at Rice, I got exactly what I asked for. High-level football, discipline, and structure. Every second was accounted for. Lifts, meetings, practice, film, recovery, repeat. And I embraced it. That kind of structure gives you purpose, and it gives you direction. But over time, something started to shift. It wasn't my love for the game, but what changed were the opportunities the game started to take away from me. It wasn't just my time anymore. It was my focus, my energy. It was slowly becoming the only way I was allowed to see myself. I ran into something uncomfortable. I didn't have the capacity to do everything well. Not at a high level, and definitely not within the system I was working in. There's a moment that I remember clearly. Not under the lights, not a game day, just me, sitting alone after practice, exhausted, body wore down. Already knowing exactly what the next 12 hours of my schedule would look like. And a thought hit me, one that I couldn't shake this time. When do I get to be something else? Not a player, not a position, just me. And that question stayed with me longer than any play in a playbook ever did. At first, I tried to push through, thinking I just need to manage my time better, work harder, and find a way to make it all fit. But eventually it became clear that there were too many things pulling me in different directions. I couldn't give my best to all of them. It wasn't some big, dramatic realization. It came in the small, more everyday choices. The things I had to turn down, the opportunities I had to let go of. Saying no to certain commitments, projects, and even important people in my life wasn't easy, but it felt necessary. When I stepped away from some of those pressures, it wasn't frustrating. It was more of a realization that I had to focus on what truly mattered. That wasn't easy to accept, but it helped me get clear on my priorities. Here's where this story stops being just mine. For Black athletes, decisions like this don't exist in a vacuum. When we perform, we're celebrated. But when we step away, people start asking questions. Not, what are you building, but why would you leave? Not, what else can you do, but why aren't you just playing? That's not just curiosity, that's expectation. It's simply what's expected of you, what others will assume you'll do, or what they think you should be able to handle. It's the bar that's set, whether it's from you or from others. The drive to meet that bar, even when you're not sure if you can, is powerful on its own. Sometimes it's just there and you don't think much of it. Other times, it's a reminder of what feels required. Expectation is power. But here's the thing, it can work in both directions. It can push you to rise, or it can weigh you down. When the expectations placed on you are powerful, when they challenge you to be better, to push past your limits, they can be a force that drives you forward. But when they feel too heavy, when they're unrealistic or narrow, they can hold you back, forcing you into a mold that just doesn't fit. Expectation shapes what you do and how you do it. It sets the standard whether you like it or not. It guides your actions. When you meet expectations, you earn trust. When you surpass them, you create opportunities. But when you fall short, it pushes you to do better, or it can make you question your worth. Expectation can feel like pressure, but it's also what drives progress, for better or for worse. And in a city like Houston, you tend to see this early. In conversation with teammates, it became clear how much expectation plays a role into everything. We talked about the pressures to perform, the constant focus on what's next, what we're supposed to be doing, and what others think we should be. It's in the way we hold ourselves to a standard, even when we're tired or stretched thin. When you're in the grind, it feels like you're constantly measuring up, always pushing to meet that next goal. It's not just about being good at the sport anymore. It's about being something. It's about being everything everyone expects you to be. But there's a point where that gets too heavy. When you realize you can't keep juggling everything at once. Something has to give. You find yourself saying no more often, whether it's to extra practice, social plans, or even opportunities that don't fit into the narrow box that you've created for yourself. It's not easy, but it feels necessary. You start to see that you can't do it all at a high level, and that's draining you from every angle. For many Black athletes, the path to success is clear. Excel in sports. This is what I call the Black sports pipeline. From a young age, society pushes Black youth to focus on athletics as the primary way out, reinforcing the idea that their value lies in their physical abilities. Sports become the path to recognition and success, while other opportunities, academic or professional, are often overlooked. The pressure to perform isn't just personal, it's societal. Coaches, families, and communities all expect Black athletes to succeed in sports, narrowing the possibilities for them to explore other interests or careers. For many Black kids, playing sports becomes more than just an option. It becomes the expectation. And don't get me wrong, that can open very many doors, but it can also quietly close others before we even realize that they were there. So let me be clear. Sports isn't the problem. The problem is how narrow the vision becomes when success is defined only by performance. We start to lose everything a person could be. So I come back to that question. When do we get to be something else? For me, the answer was stepping away. Not because I couldn't play, but because I wanted the freedom to become more. And what I'm asking is simple. What would it look like if Black athletes were valued, not just for what they produce, but for what they can imagine? The real victory isn't just being seen on the field. It's being free to choose who you are off of it. There's a lot of beauty in sports. The game teaches us discipline, teamwork, resilience, hard work, dedication. It can offer structure and help build valuable life skills. Playing the game can create opportunities and bring all types of people together. But the issue comes when sports are seen as the only option. When we're only valued for what we can do on the field, we limit ourselves. Sports are important, but they shouldn't define us entirely. The real challenge is giving athletes the chance to explore other careers, to be valued for what they can do beyond the game. True success is having the freedom to choose your path on and off the field. And to also remember that the ability to choose cannot be taken away or even given away. It can only be forgotten. Thank you all for your time.